Well, we heard from Dana Holgorsen for the first time here as Nebraska prepares for Wisconsin. Before we get to the full report, this report is brought to you by Prize Picks. There's no better way to get into the action with Prize Picks. And whatever your favorite sport is, it could be football, it could be basketball, college, pros. And we've got a great deal at HuskerOnline. For your first $5 deposit, they're going to match that and give you $50 with the promo code HuskerOnline at PrizePicks. Win up to 10 times your money. All right, back to Dana Holgorsen. Hearing from him the first time, it was interesting just to hear about his familiarity with Nebraska growing up in the state of Iowa.
Quite a bit. I grew up 30 minutes south of Iowa City, so grew up a fan of theirs, and just obviously being in this part of the country, I knew what Nebraska football was all about, and didn't have any ties to it. But I guess probably the closest thing I could say I did was we took a lot of trips to Colorado, and so we would drive right through here. But just all a great deal of respect for the program, the history. The tradition, and it's exciting to be a part of it.
As to why he took the job at Nebraska, pretty simple.
I was bored. Great deal of respect for Coach Rule. We visited in December, and I didn't think it was fair to him, me, or the program to do it at that point. I was tired. I'd been through a lot, and just didn't have to do it at that point, and I didn't feel like I was ready to give it my all. I was very grateful to Sonny Dykes and TCU for being a consultant there, which kept me around the game. I was there for, I think 3 weeks in camp, and then went on vacation for about 2 weeks. Came back, and I was always there. I was there for 2 weeks, and I was there for 2 games, and I didn't like being a part of the games, because I wasn't a part of the games. All right, I was up in the head coach's suite for a game, and I was on the sidelines for a game, and I'm like, yeah, I don't like this part of it. If I don't have any control over it, I don't want to do it. So I would just help prep them in the beginning of the week, and then I'd go do something else. It was fun to kind of go do other things, but I was slated to go back to Fort Worth on Sunday night, and Coach Rule called, and I was like, yeah, he said, let's just come try to figure this out. I need your help. And so I was grateful to him for saying that I needed your help, and so I was like, I think a great deal of him. I think a great deal of this program. So I was excited to jump on it, rules allow it now. In years past, rules wouldn't have allowed it. So, I just wanted to insert myself and try to help Coach Rule, and try to help this football team, and try to help this great program.
And Holgorsen now is going into his 3rd week working with quarterback Dylan Raiola, and he said the two have really gotten to know each other here over that time.
I thought everything was really good. I started talking into the mic on Tuesday morning of game week. That's the first time I talked into that thing, and it makes play calling a lot easier. The iPads on the sidelines make play calling easier. And I'd talked to a couple of my just colleagues across the country, and they're all like, they called and they said, "So you're going to call it?" And I said, "Yeah." And they're like, "Well, the technology is going to help you. It's going, so I can just look at the paper and I can read from it and talk into it. I used to signal everything myself. And now we got a bunch of signalers." But I don't even pay attention to the signalers because I'm just talking to him the whole time, And he's a very, very, very bright young man. It's just, how is this kid a freshman? Because how can he process all this information as a freshman? He knows he knows the plays, he knows the offense, he knows how to communicate it to the players. I thought the process was really good. We had 2 snap infractions, which is 100% on the center. He will admit that, okay. But other than that, there was nothing pre-snap. We weren't getting delay of games. We weren't scrambling to get people lined up. I thought it was very efficient. I thought our substitutions on the sidelines were really good. You know, so that was encouraging, and I think that will all, I think it all get better. You know, I mean, the play on the field needs to get better. The operation I thought was fine. So we're not sitting here trying to worry about the operation. We're trying to worry about the play on the field to get better, you know, and that's what we're working on today, just what it looks like out there on the field.
Yeah, he's been around it for a while, so he knows exactly what he's looking for, and he knows exactly what the play is supposed to look like. And you know, he kind of just helps to, you know, design different plays, design certain people to get the ball. So, yeah, I think his experience is the biggest thing for myself and kind of everybody involved. Well, he's kind of point blank on the practice field, but no, yeah, he's very straightforward. Not a lot of gray area, which is needed, especially at the quarterback position. You know, you like to know exactly where and who and why you're calling the play. So, I think, you know, what you see from him now is kind of what we get on the practice field, in some form or fashion.
Another interesting thing Holgorsen had to say was it brought Nebraska's wide receivers. He wants to see that group block better.
I thought they blocked well. They, you know, that's the first thing I challenged them. I was like, guys, I said, you guys are fairly big kids. You know, I know 17's not a big kid, but he's a tough kid. But there's some good-sized kids out there, you know. I mean, 16, 18, 4. I mean, these guys, you know, 29. These guys are big bodies. I'm like, why are you not blocking worth the crap on the perimeter? I mean, it's embarrassing. I mean, you got being a receiver, you think, oh, they want touches, throw me the ball. First thing I said to him, if you don't start blocking out there, then you're not going to get the ball thrown to you. And this past week, it was our best perimeter blocking of the season. I was very happy with those guys, and they're proud of it, you know, because they worked hard on it for 2 weeks. That's where it starts, you know, and then just details of route running and ball skills. We got guys that can make plays. The problem that we probably ran into last week is not defeating man coverage. USC's very talented in their secondary. Wisconsin's very talented in their secondary. Both are going to play a lot of man. We didn't do a very good job of separation last week. We need to do a better job of that this week for us to be successful against Wisconsin.
And he also said he would like to see the running backs hit the holes harder.
I thought we ran block well on Saturday. You know, they say it's the O-line's best game up front. You know, I thought we played well up front. You know, I can't gauge it on what happened in the first 9 games, but I was pleasantly surprised with our pad level, our toughness. You know, assignment-wise being good. I thought we had, you know, a couple of runs that were good, tough runs that got good, tough yards, but you know, I know Coach Rule mentioned it yesterday. There's a lot of yards left out there. You know, when I can push the back and there's a hole like this, you know, and the back's not in it, it's discouraging. You know, and so just got to get those guys to open their eyes and trust the blocks and hit it. You know, I thought at halftime I told the running back coach, you know, I was like, they need to hit that thing better because there are some holes there. You know, I mean, it is what it is. You know, you get it up to the second level, we need to get some backs that can make some guys miss in open field. I mean, some of those tackles that USC had are hard tackles, and they made them. You know, so you know, I was pleased with the scheme. I was pleased with you know what it looked like. We have to get more production. You know, we do have to get more production.
Meanwhile, we heard from defensive coordinator Tony White about just his defense and the standard he wants him to play at.
You know, there's a standard, right? You gotta execute at a high level, and then you gotta play with some attitude. And we had opportunities where we just didn't execute. I mean, and that's the sad thing in football. You want to put yourself in a position where if they make a play, they got to beat you, right? They got to go up like one-handed on the sideline, instant replay, tippy-toe. Hey, they beat me. All right, bro, you got me. Let's line up again and do it. But when you don't execute and you don't, you know, you give them free plays, you're not going to beat nobody that way. And so, again, that starts with me and making sure that, you know, making sure we do the processes right at practice, make sure that guys know where they're supposed to be. You know, we don't take that stuff for granted. You know what I mean? That's lesson, right? You got a veteran secondary and stuff, and you know you kind of let them go out there and all that stuff, and then you got to reinforce the process all the time. You know, harp on them about the communication, make sure that they're looking at each other all the time, make sure they're communicating all the time, and give those guys a chance, because those guys can make those plays. I mean, so clearly it was something I did during the week that the message didn't get relayed.
One adjustment this week the Huskers will have to make, though, on defense is Wisconsin will have a new offensive coordinator.
Yeah, I think it's just going to be more in-game adjustments. Same thing. You know, you gotta have to feel what they're trying to do. Obviously, a great run game helps any kind of change like that, right? And so, same thing we saw last week. You know, with how they got the quarterback going. You know, was the run game. So, expect that this week, and you know they're going to do what they do. So.
And it will be senior day, and as White looked back, he's got a lot of veterans on this defense playing their final game.
Oh man, I mean they came. You know, that when we came here, that's what we knew, right? And so, obviously, all football players remember the last time they get a chance to step in front of the home crowd. You know what I mean? And it's important that the young guys understand that this is their last go in Memorial. So we made sure that we told them that one day they're going to be the old guys, and they hope that the guys after them play their butts off for them. And so we'll see. You know, I know they're going to be excited to play.
And we caught up with a couple of those senior players as well, in both linebacker John Bullock and defensive back Deshaun Singleton, on what it means to play in this final game.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll be a little teary, but just knowing the amount I've gave to this university and this state, just to this football team, just thinking back on all of it and how far I've come, it'll be definitely very emotional for me.
Man, I'm always thinking about it, you know what I'm saying, coming from my journey, and not a lot of people can say they been through that type of stuff, but, you know, my focus is, you know, on Wisconsin right now, but, you know, every other time I get to think about it, I'm always thankful, you know what I'm saying, thankful for where I'm at, thankful for everything that I'm going through and able to persevere through it, so, yeah.
And for everyone, I think the goal is pretty simple. Nebraska wants to get that 6th win to get bowl eligible.
Yeah, I mean, it'll mean the world to this program. I think it'll take it off on the right trajectory going forward, just knowing that we can win. And that's kind of how us seniors wanted to lead this place. So just, yeah, you know, I mean, we'll give it the seniors will give our all to get that 6th win. That's our main goal right now, is just to win. So whatever we got to do to get that, I mean, that's what I plan on doing, just going out there and trying to get that win for us, no matter what I got to do to change the game. I just got to control me. I can't control anybody else, so I'm going to go out there and do my part and try to make as many plays as I can and try to make a game-changing play.
Reporting here with the Nebraska football team in Lincoln, I'm Sean Callahan with HuskerOnline.com.